Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us here on Up with Krem on this Friday. I'm Tim Pham. Well, today is Tom Sherry Day, as you heard there officially in the city of Spokane. We are celebrating Tom Sherry all day here on Krem 2. But first, let's get right to meteorologist Thomas Patrick in the Weather Center. Thomas, I know Tom has been a big mentor to you. Bittersweet day for sure.
It very much is, but we've obviously had a lot of memories of laughing with him and sometimes laughing at him just a little bit, like in that massage chair you just saw a moment ago, one of our favorite moments recently. But weather-wise, much drier this morning, but there is a little bit of patchy fog in some regions, but at least not worrying about any active snow or rain that was falling. Actually, Michelle had texted me last night. She said that it was grappling at her house late last night. And this morning, haven't seen any precipitation reports, but because temperatures are below the freezing mark, there could be some icy roadways, especially between Spokane and towards the western areas like Airway Heights, Cheney, Medical Lake, where there are some more foggy conditions in that region as well. So it is 30 in Ritzville, 31 in Spokane, 28 in Moses Lake. Be extra careful for some bridges because those would be the areas that are first to freeze over when our temperatures are like this. Mainly cloudy through the morning hours, some patchy fog that we are tracking, but we'll see that burn off pretty quickly, especially with more sunshine later on today and definitely for this weekend. It's a weekend forecast that I think you're going to like in just a few moments.
Right now, 2 new COVID testing sites are coming to our area, one in Cheney and the other in Hilliard. The company is called Curative. They are setting up a PCR testing site at Cheney Middle School. It will be open Mondays and Wednesdays from 4 to 7 in the evening. Curative is also setting up a testing site at the Spokane Public Library in the Hilliard neighborhood. That one will be open Fridays and Saturdays from 10 in the morning until 5 in the evening. It will also be open on Sundays from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. So there is no out-of-pocket cost to patients at these sites. Walk-up testing is available for appointments, and they can be made ahead of time at curative.com. Now to a Krem 2 investigation. We uncovered new details about the firing of a Spokane County Sheriff's deputy who is running for sheriff himself. Krem 2 obtained documents showing Craig Chamberlain was fired for a number of reasons, including lying during an internal affairs investigation. Chamberlain originally claimed he was fired for running for the sheriff's position. The document showed Chamberlain wrote a character letter for his daughter's volleyball coach who was being investigated as part of a federal child pornography case. Chamberlain told internal affairs investigators he knew the letter was for legal issues, but he didn't know it would be submitted to a judge. However, a copy of the letter Chamberlain wrote seems to dispute that. In the letter, Chamberlain says he was shocked to hear the allegations against the coach. This goes against his statement to investigators, where he says he didn't know what the coach was accused of.
It really didn't help your case that much because we found more inconsistencies, a lot of consistencies. And even more disturbingly, we actually had witnesses changing their stories on us.
My fault and bad wording on my letter that I wrote to him, and I'll be the first one to fully admit that. And I wrote it based on, like we spoke about before, the rumors and the speculations from the parents, and I should not have done that.
The public records also included an administrative report from a sheriff's office detective. The detective says Chamberlain told him and an inspector that he would be writing the coach a reference letter for an upcoming sentencing hearing, which goes against his statement to investigators where he claims he didn't know the letter was going to be given to a judge. Our investigators will keep pressing for answers and keep you updated. It's time now for your morning rush. More news in less time. Spokane's East Central neighborhood could see more changes along I-90.
But it has experienced harm as a result of the placement and construction of these freeways. And so this is a way to mitigate some of that harm.
The bill will allow the Department of Transportation to lease property near I-90 and the North Spokane corridor back to the community.
The title of the bill, Sam's Law, will be the title of the act.
Sam's Law passed unanimously in the Washington State Senate yesterday. The law is named after Sam Martinez, a 19-year-old student who died following a fraternity party at WSU. The bill requires hazing education and documentation for all college organizations. Also in Olympia, a bill creating an alert system for missing Indigenous women and people passed the state Senate.
This isn't just an Indian issue. This is a Washington State crisis, and Washington State is better than that.
The alert would operate similar to a silver alert, giving details about the missing person and be broadcast on highway message signs. The Urban Indian Health Institute says Indigenous women and people go missing 4 times more than white women. The fuel export tax is no more after the Washington State House removed it from the $16 billion transportation package. The tax would have charged out-of-state buyers an additional 6 cents per gallon on fuel refined by Washington. Lawmakers from Oregon, Idaho, and Alaska pushed back on the tax. And Washington drivers could see gas prices drop, but not for a few more months. AAA estimates prices could drop after Memorial Day. The average gas price in Washington state hit $4.10 on Wednesday morning. Even with the invasion in Ukraine, Washington state gets little crude oil from Russia. However, because of world events, the market could be a bit shaky for the time being. And that's a look at your morning rush. More people living here means more people having emergencies. Our regional emergency call center is feeling the pressure of more people calling 911. Nicole Hernandez at the communications center now, and she's explaining how much of an increase in calls they're seeing.
So in 2021, the Spokane Regional Emergency Communications Center, otherwise known as SHREC, they took almost 600,000 emergency calls. Now, comparing that to the amount of calls they took in 2020, they took 35,000 more. So that breaking down into a daily number is almost 100 more calls every single day.
We don't know if she has any weapons.
I mean, you could hear it there. The call center is busy depending on the time. There are 6 to 14 people working at any point. Workers say calls used to come down around 11 p.m., but not anymore.
You just never know what kind of day you're going to have until you sit in that seat. It's not even chaos. It's controlled chaos. So we thrive under pressure. Crime check when you're reporting.
Now, workers are taking every single call to 911 and Crime Check 24/7. The more people living here, the more people there are making those calls. So SHREC is working on hiring more people, but they are having issues with staffing just like most other businesses are in our area. Now, SHREC says they have hired 4 different people just this year. And just yesterday while we were here, we saw 2 different people training to start taking calls. In Spokane, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Negotiations continue between Russia and Ukraine after Russian troops attack Europe's largest nuclear power plant overnight.
You need to know about today's weather is that it's finally not raining this morning, and that's the weather that's going to continue straight on into the weekend. The cloud cover, some of the fog from this morning, that'll eventually depart as well.
Today, Tom Sherry will sign off from KREM 2 Airwaves for one final time. For more than 3 decades, you have welcomed him into your homes and our community. And here are some of the goodbye messages you've already sent in. Someone said, "Thanks, Tom, for being my weather guy and my support for our community. Happy retirement." A lot of people also writing in thanking Tom for his efforts in fighting hunger in our community. So you can send in your favorite Tom Sherry messages, memories, or maybe you have some pictures if you met Tom in the community. You can text us at the number 509-448-2000 or use the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media. And before we go to break, here's a special message from Tom's wife.
T.S., what a ride you've had. What an impact you've had. Let's go right off into the sunset, enjoy our family and our friends. You've worked hard and it's your turn. Have fun.